traditional semi-finals here at Victoria Square as we celebrate 60 years of Panorama. The Diamond Anniversary 1963 to 2023. Panorama Jubilation, nothing sweeter than Pan. And we await the arrival of our first band. There are 30 bands playing for us here today. So we're going to get a variety of music. Let's just give you a little rundown of some of the bands that will be coming until the first band is ready for the judges. We'll be hearing from Fascinator's Pan Symphony, Panya, Genesis Pan Groove, Simple Songs Steel Orchestra, Arima Golden Symphony, West Side Symphony, Musical Gems Steel Orchestra, Sound of Music Steel Orchestra. That's just the first sort of 7 bands that you'll be hearing. As I said, we have 30 bands here this afternoon. Alicia, perhaps you can tell our audience who our judges are for the show here today.
So those with the responsibility of doing the scoring this afternoon are Dr. Roger Henry, Joanna Short, Kenrick Noel, Lorna Conyett, Michelle Dowridge, and Joanna.
And a very good afternoon to one and all as we welcome you here to Victoria Square in Port of Spain for the start of the action here. This, of course, is the small conventional steel orchestra semi-final, a big day for Pan. 30 bands getting ready to face the judges here today, and we anticipate it's going to be a really outstanding night or afternoon and into evening and into night of fun as these bands look to make it through to the grand final a week from today at the Queen's Park Savannah. And we anticipate that it will be a very interesting night of fun, serious competition, and may the best band, with 14 of them, are expected to make it through to the final. So we're hoping that it will be another fantastic night of fun, but I think they have to withstand the competition. Now the band you're seeing on stage, of course, is out of the eastern region of Pan Bilbago. And they, of course, will be hoping to maintain their winning ways. They were leaders coming out of the preliminaries when the judges, when the Pan sides were, the orchestras were judged in their respective Pan theatres. And they were just 1 point ahead of the defending champions. So naturally they'll be hoping that they can maybe get some separation, if anything, from the uptown Fascinators. And isn't that ironic? Fascinators Pan Symphony with long time, 272 points, 1 point ahead of uptown Fascinators with their dollar wine, 271 points. They tally there for them. So it's expected to be a fantastic night of fun, and the band is just getting set up here. The first of 30 bands, as we say, and we anticipate that it's going to be, could be a fairly long night depending on how quickly the bands are on and off stage, and the organizers can get them on and off stage, and I think that has always been a challenge in a lot of instances, and hopefully tonight they'll be able to make sure that they get it down quickly. I see Mr. Moranci is out there doing his bit, and assisted by a host of others, so hopefully they'll be able to organize that quickly, get the bands on and off. As quickly as possible and allow the competition to flow quickly. Now again, in the small conventional category, in terms of the number of players permitted in this category, in the preliminaries, between 45 and 60. Same thing in the semi-finals, and a similar thing in the finals. So between 45 and 60 players, and that is panists, percussionists, and everybody else. So, and this band looks like it has a full complement of players. A fairly young band, and a lot of young ladies as well as young men as well. Just trying to get themselves sorted out. And again, band number 1, Fascinators Pan Symphony, out of number 1, Lamy Street in. As you can see, the players are just getting themselves ready to perform in their black t-shirts with the Fascinators Pan Symphony emblazoned across their chest, and pretty soon they should be ready to perform. Like I said, they really sounded beautifully in their Pan Theatre in Tunapuna. Challenge now is for them to replicate that or even improve on that here at Victoria Square, and then onto the Savannah. That is always the goal of any panist performing in a band, is to make sure that they can get to the finals and showcase their talents there. Of course, as you know, their tune of choice is by Alphonsus Castle, The Arrow. Long time. And of course, the arranger for this band is no stranger to the pan world, and a very familiar name on that in terms of Amrit Samru, the son of Jit Samru, Dr. Jit Samru, the late Dr. Jit Samru. And Amrit is developing a wonderful CV of his own and really charting his own course. And of course, he building the Supernovas, the first citizen Supernovas outfit out there in Kelly Village, in Surrey Village, I should say, in Lopino. But here he is now, not too far in Tunapuna now, not just down the road, trying to see if he could get the Fascinators into winner's row as well. So of course the officials, they have to count the players, because remember it is a competition, so they have to stay within the limits between the 45 and 60 players for this category. So everybody in a t-shirt more or less will be counted once they're behind their pans or behind the instruments. And once they've done those counts, then they'll be able to give the signal that they're ready to go. And we should hear band number 1 here this evening, the Fascinators Pan Symphony out of Lamy Street in Tunapuna. The leader is Makeda Defoe. The tuner is Jared Clark. Of course, a long time from way back in 1984 by Alphonsus Arrow Castle. Is Leston Paul, and the arranger is Amrit Samaru. So this is semi-final day here at the Victoria Square.
To be here for you today. Let's hear a round of applause for them. So on stage,
and Fascinators, of course, playing in position number 1, the leaders of the competition, so to speak. And so now it's just a question of them reproducing their force. Of course, the Fascinators came into being in 1997, a result of joining 2 bands, Nocturne Fascinators and Pan Symphony, both residing in the Tunapuna El Dorado district. Nocturne Fascinators, that was founded back in the 50s, and Pan Symphony in 1971. But now they're ready to face the judges. Here we go with band number 1, Fascinators with Long Time, arranged by Amrit Samaru. And that was band number 1. What a sterling performance indeed from the Fascinators Pan Symphony out of Lamy Street in Tunapuna. And what a performance indeed. And if you would have heard their performance in the preliminaries, you would have seen or would have heard that there's quite a lot of work done cleaning up certain aspects of the band, and no doubt trying to get it as clean as possible and as precise as possible in order to get them to get the nod from the judges. They're looking for points. That's basically what this is about. And no doubt they give themselves an amazing chance at doing so with this performance here. Really was a strong performance from the band, and our congratulations to them on a fine display. Band number 1, one of 30, of course, the National Panorama Small Conventional Semi-Finals here at Victoria Square, and it's coming to here on 360 TV. And no doubt a lot of anticipation would have gone into this, a lot of hard work by all the players to make sure that they had everything down pat, and here they are now after performing that little, this is what you want to do. You want to get through the performance, of course, safely, but you really envision life after the performance quite often, because more than anything else, you want to give a flawless performance. And I think Fascinators did themselves very, very proud indeed. And so they really set the tone here now for the rest of the competition. So it certainly has been a good year so far for the Fascinators Pan Symphony. And we want to wish them all the best going forward. Remember, they had 272 points coming into today's semi-final, so hopefully they'll be able to build on that. And again, our congratulations to Amrit Samaru. I could actually see him walking in the crowd there. He must be a very, very happy man indeed. And again, because the Fascinator aligns itself and commits itself to the betterment of the youth via the national instrument. To this end, they have partnered with the H. Dorado West Secondary School and the community with whom they enjoy working with the teachers and members of the community. Most recently, they have entered candidates into the Steel Pan Music Festival. Pan is Beautiful. And they placed 10th and 8th overall in the soloist category. So it's been a wonderful experience, I would imagine, for a number of these youngsters, many of them out of the Tunapuna El Dorado community and of course the school in that area. So they naturally would want to see the band do well, and boy, have they set the marker here this evening. And they would give way now to band number 2. And of course, Fascinators, they got an invitation back in 2015 to perform in Australia. So they've done themselves and the country very proud indeed. Of course, Johan Popwell arranged for the band in 2020, Trouble in the Morning. In 2019, he arranged for them again. I come out to party. So they've worked with some renowned arrangers. Now they're working with Amrit Samaru, another outstanding arranger, and hopefully they'll be able to get themselves cracking. Once again, we just heard from one band, and band number 1, the Fascinators Pan Symphony with Long Time. And we're getting ready for band number 2 here this evening, the Genesis Band Group, another band out of the East. And they're using the Harmonites Band Theatre on Lady Young Road in Barataria, just behind the gas station there, between the Eastern Main Road and the Priority Bus Route. Originally Genesis would have been almost out of the Curep area as well. Very good. I'll bring them to sit here. Bring the chair now. Bring her. They come here. No problem. Thanks so much.
One. Hey.
I got a long hike, you know, man. So I gotta go all Okay, as we're standing by here for band number 2, the Genesis Pan Groove, we have Mr. Dolly from us here with us. What, Karen, is that? Karen Dolly, who of course is part of the executive for the Fascinators Pan Symphony. Give me your impressions of the performance tonight.
Well, we are very pleased with our performance tonight. This afternoon, we put in a lot of hard work. Every night drilling, getting these guys ready to come out tonight, and I think we are very satisfied. Just as the band finished, I had a look at the arranger, and he seemed very pleased today. So we are very happy today.
I saw Amrit as well, yeah, you know, but the band has had. You had Johan Popwell, who's a very good arranger.
Yes.
Now you have Amrit, who's also working with the band. What is the feedback you're getting from these arrangers, and how are the youngsters gravitating to the music?
Well, the youngsters, the players, they're enjoying it. They're enjoying it. When we were with Mr. Popper, we had a lot of success as well too. Every year we would make the finals. We even top the preliminaries a couple of times back. You know, so this year we decided to make a change. You know, and we got Amrit, and we same success we are having. So we're just hoping that we'll take this one straight to the final. The youngsters they're enjoying it. You know, and we really hope that we'll take this one straight to the top.
From what you heard from the preliminaries to today. What I've heard and what I'm hearing today, I know a lot of work went in, as you mentioned there.
Yes.
So I know a lot went in. But which areas you felt that the band, the focus was? Because I heard a little piece inside there with the tenors that he kind of held for a while, you know, and other little parts that he cleaned up.
Yeah, well, the arranger, he made a few minor changes in the arrangement itself, but I think the focus getting ready for this semi-final was to drill the band to make sure that all the players execute exactly the way that the arranger would have wanted them to execute the music. And we had our drill masters, they worked very hard, the drill sessions were, but I think the focus was to really get the players to execute the arrangement with the one or two minor changes that we had.
Now I know that the Tonopuna area, what is the feedback in the community for the band?
The community is very happy for us right now because, you know, when you're in top, everybody looks a winner. So the result from the preliminaries encouraged, and we have a lot of supporters on the other side. You know, they came down in their numbers today, coming to support Fascinators from the El Dorado area. Last night, they were out in the Panyard last night, all smiles, all positive vibes in the Panyard coming into the semi-final today. So we really hope that we're gonna perform very well. We performed very well already, and we hope the results are in our favor.
So you know, you all set the stage now, so everybody.
that was the idea. That was the idea to come out. We didn't want to pull band number 1, but sometimes these things happen. So we decided that, you know what, we're gonna lead from the front this afternoon. We're gonna set the pace, and we're gonna have everybody a little bit worried after hearing us. That was our intention. Have them worried coming out, knowing what they have to beat as they come down the rest of the evening.
Let me just tell you something. It has happened before. Bands have played number 1 and won from position number 1. So
and by God's grace, it's going to happen this evening as well too.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by. Here. So again, the Fascinators Pan Symphony, band number 1, performing here at the Victoria Square location. And now it's up to the other bands to try their best to see if they could do it. Genesis Pan Groove with Bundem by Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion, who of course passed away recently. And we certainly again send out our condolences to the family, his wife, and all the other members of the family. And of course, we know that his music will live on. Because it's such rich music that he's left us with. We can't help but really marvel at the way that he's been able to put it all together. But we're getting ready now for band number 2, the Genesis Pan Groove, operating out of the Harmonites Band Theatre on Lady Young Road in Barataria. Terry Ann Roberts and Jabari Narayan are the leaders. The tuner is Andy Niels. The tune of choice, Bundem, from 1991 by Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion, and David Yundi is the arranger of the band. Again, playing in position number 2, coming in with 233 points, from the
Before this band actually starts the performance,
preliminaries,
members have requested that everyone stand for 1 minute.
and they're going to do a minute silence in, of course, in a tribute to and in memory of Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, band number 2.
So we're getting ready now for band number 2 as they pay their tribute to the Black Stallion, and it's his music that they're going to be performing here today. We're live here on 360 TV. A very good evening, good afternoon to one and all. Welcome again as we get ready for band number 2. Genesis Pan Groove playing Bondem by Leroy Callis and arranged by David Yundi.
Let's hear it for band number 2, Genesis Pan Groove, playing Stallions.
The Genesis Pan Groove, doing it in position number 2, Bondem from 1991 by the late great Dr. Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion, and putting on a fantastic show. What a much improved performance indeed from them here this evening, and certainly one that I'm sure they'll be very, very proud of, given their status, and no doubt Hyundai would have been very, very pleased with this performance here today. You can really tell that they worked hard. They've really upped the game just a little bit. So they obviously did everything in their power to try to get into this position, and they've certainly done very well indeed. And so that's 2 down, and we have 28 more to go. And once again, welcome to 360 TV here as we bring you live coverage of the semi-finals of Pan Trinbago's small conventional steel orchestra competition. And remember, 14 bands are hoping to impress the judges enough so they can make it all the way to the finals a week from today in the big yard in the Queen's Park, Savannah. And that, of course, is the ultimate goal here. Well, the first one is to get into the finals, and of course the ultimate would be to win it all as far as possible and see if it is in the stars for them to really get the judges' nod. But they've really done themselves a big service here, and they really put their hands up for this success here this evening. And we do have Mr. Ash has just joined us. He's soaking wet from having conducted the band. Come in this way. Having conducted the band, and we'll get to the interview in a minute, because I just want to make sure that everything is A-OK, and we certainly, but Genesis, I remember a couple of years ago I was doing the large bands in the East, and I went to the Genesis Band Theatre. They were right there, and the little loop by Yui there, just behind Sforzata, and so they were just right there in that little loop. So I just wanted to see how this band has grown, because they were in that large category, but they're one of the few bands that went from small, medium to large, and now they're back to small, because I think in 2015 they were a small band, and they went to medium, then they went to large in 2017, and now they're back in small. So the band has kind of gone through some changes here at the moment, but as soon as we have all the technical things sorted out, they'll be able to do the interview. And so give me your feelings about the band's performance. I know I'll give you a chance to catch your breath here a little bit.
Thank you, Askin. I think the band they did pretty well. What people won't realize is that the band never got to run it on the track. So in other words, we never warmed up. Due to some situations beyond our control, the band actually came down to the Savannah, to the venue here, Victoria Square, right before to go on stage. So we literally just offloaded and put everything straight to the stage. Right. There was no time to warm up. Nobody was able to rehearse, so it was like a bomb tune coming. It was like a bomb tune.
Coming like stealth, just appear on the scene.
Yeah. But I also think that the band did extremely well given the circumstances. And I'm definitely confident that they would be able to make it to the next round.
And I asked people that listen from the preliminaries to now, how big a difference. I mean, I heard the band in the preliminaries, and I was impressed then, but I'm even more impressed now based on the set of fire that you all put in the song now.
Well, you haven't seen fire yet, because I'm telling you now, once Genesis makes it to the finals, I have a surprise in store for you, but I'll leave it right there. In terms of the preliminary round, I think the band was really, I mean, they did well given the situation, but in terms of rehearsals and stuff, they were unprepared. And so, as much as the arrangement would have been good, the performance of it lost a lot of marks. And I think they really redeemed themselves this round by really coming out, because I could tell you now, about 2 to 3 nights ago, I had reached where I needed to go where drilling of this band is concerned. So much that yesterday, all we did was meet for section practice and I dismissed them. That's how they were able to come together and actually execute so well on the go without even having a warm-up.
You know, I ask people this, you were saying like 2 or 3 days ago you felt you had reached it, but when did you think that they actually got the song? When?
I would say 3 days ago, and that was when we put it together. The entire band was there. Everybody worked hard for that 3 hour of rehearsal, and at the end of that rehearsal I said we have something to go forward with. I have one surprise for the finals once we get there, and you know how it goes from there. It's all going to go down.
Well, we the last time we spoke, we were going through 30 bands.
Yes.
You know, in the small category, in the single band category. But here we are in the small category. Put on your Panorama hat now. I mean, I think a lot of people are actually looking forward to today because it promises so much.
Well, in Panorama capacity, I could definitely say now that 16 bands will now be going to the finals and not 14. Our reason for that is because we proposed to put 12 bands in medium and large into the finals, and we already carried more than the amount for the single band. So it would have been fair to raise the number of bands going into the finals for the small, and a decision was taken by the Central Executive of Panorama earlier today to have 2 added bands go into the finals. After all, it is the 60th anniversary of Panorama, our Diamond Jubilee, and we intend to celebrate. So the more the merrier where that is concerned. And as regards to Panorama, I think that the steel bands are really outdoing themselves. On a personal note, it took a lot for us to come here, and if you know anything about Genesis with David Yandi as the arranger, David, you know me from Silver Stars. However, how I got involved with Genesis is because David Yandi is my son, my adopted son. I taught him, I mean, he's 21 years of age.
Humble
and
beginnings.
Very humble. David was born in the US. He came to Trinidad and Tobago. His mother was murdered and he eventually was adopted, and then eventually I took him over and taught him a lot. Now he's going to UTT. He's a final year student at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, and he was given this opportunity through Leon Smooth Edwards. Told Genesis, use David Yandi, and then the next thing you know is history. If David is going there, I have to give my support, and that's how I got there.
Well, keep it in the family,
of course,
kind of thing, and make sure it works. And again, I don't know how people could judge it, but the work that is being done at UTT right now, I think it exceeded all expectations.
I think UE and UTT is doing a magnificent job. Band number 1, Fascinators, was a UE graduate, Amrit Samaru. As a matter of fact, the drill masters, and they were also UE graduates. And then band number 2, we have UTT. Not even a graduate yet, a student with that caliber of music. Band number 3 coming on there is UTT. You actually have a minimum of 10 lineups of UTT students and about almost the same amount of UE graduates that are here to fight the veterans this evening. And it's going to be a lovely battle. You actually see the changing of the guards now. The old isn't letting go, you know, and they're damn right. They could still beat and teach. But the young persons are showing, hey, I coming up to challenge you now. And that is exciting, and that's why I say Pan will never die.
We've sitting here and we look at the young faces that we're seeing and spread across all the bands. And I think the message is getting through to these bands that, they have to invest in the youth. And I think a lot of them are taking that on board and running with it.
Definitely. I think Panorama in itself has definitely taken that stance of investing in the youth as well. Beverly Ramsey Moore has certainly invested. I mean, I am a young person on her executive. We have Lauren Pierre. We have the events committee made up of young persons. We do a lot of youthful events to bring out soloists, arrangers, and those things, tuners, you actually see where the young persons are now taking that keen interest in the instrument, and that in itself shows a level of success that we have come a long way in over 60 years.
Well, it certainly has been. Ash, thanks so much for stopping
No
by.
problem.
I know you have other duties to perform,
Yes, I
but I'm
do.
sure I'll be chatting with you later on. And you
Okay.
can always stop by later and go, because we have a long night here
No problem.
as well. So, again, congratulations to the Genesis Steel, Genesis Pan Groove. But now we get ready for band number 3. Simple Song from Pinto Road in Arima. Of course, Wendell Bowen is the leader, and Out and Bad is the tune of choice from 2022. Aaron St. Louis, the voice, and Kendall Bowen is the arranger for the band. Band number 3, Simple Song, Steel Orchestra with Out and Bad, playing in position number 3, looking nice and resplendent in their red, white, and black polo shirts, and they took their bow, so I think they're ready to go. Simple Sound Steel Orchestra out of Pinto Road, 188 Pinto Road in Arima. And of course, Out and Bad voice very much in the house here at Victoria Square. It's the Trinbago's small conventional steel orchestra's semi-final action, and it's coming to you here on 360 TV. We hope you're enjoying it, and another solid performance indeed from a band that has been around now for over 42 years and counting. The band has been actively involved in numerous music festivals and Panorama competition since its inception, and has made it to the national finals on a number of occasions. The Simple Sound Steel Orchestra, of course located in Arima and Pinto Road in Santa Rosa, has been involved in numerous community initiatives since the beginning, including an annual community children's party, and after Parang for a few years, Simple Song has been contributing to the upliftment of the youth of Pinto Road in Santa Rosa Park in Arima, Panorama Heights, and surrounding areas by teaching them the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, the Simple Song Steel Orchestra. Of course, hoping to make it into the finals with another strong performance here in the semi-finals, and they no doubt would be keeping their fingers crossed that the judges will see it their way. But again, you can just see the commitment, and it must be said that midway through their performance, the rains came down, but they didn't skip a beat, they just kept going. And such is the commitment from this band and the players, and they ought to be commended, because when the rain fell, some of them were uncovered literally. So it would have been interesting to see, you know, if it would have affected them, but I think it just kind of gave them energy, and they just seemed to just be more enthused and more determined to finish the job what they started. They certainly did it, and they no doubt came up trumps. And they certainly have done themselves a world of good. Okay, we've just been joined here by Kendall Bowen, who of course is the arranger for the band, the Simple Song Steel Orchestra. Simple Song playing a big song.
Out and Bad, a big, very big song.
Yeah, how you felt about the performance?
I felt really great about this performance. Really great. The players executed, the vibe was there, the energy was there.
Did the rain give you a little lift as well? Because it just seems as if it just added to the whole atmosphere right now. It didn't seem to affect them negatively at all.
I wouldn't let anything affect my band. Whether can't stop that. Come out to enjoy yourself and execute the music at the best of our ability, and that is exactly what we did out there.
All right, well,
I'm sure about that.
And that's good. And because I played, you know, on the radio, I played I try to play as many of the bands as possible, okay. And I did play your piece from the preliminaries, and I was listening to it, and I'm listening now to what you performed here today. And you know, I could see some additions, a little bit of cleaning up in different areas, but a lot of fire added to this performance.
You cannot come in the semi-finals without fire.
Because you're not sure if you'll make it to the final, so you have to lay it on the line here.
Yes.
There's nothing is given.
All out.
And how the youths, you know, kind of gravitate to your music and what you're asking them to do?
Well. The players that I work with junior, they are accustomed to my music. So they are accustomed to the style of music that I put down.
Right.
So obviously there are some outside players as well.
Right.
There are some, but there's plenty practice, hard work, and understanding different arrangers' style. And I believe that they execute their music so good, and they understand the music.
And of course, it helps that it's a type of community band in Santa Rosa there.
Pinto Road.
Yeah, in Pinto Road. So you know, I suppose that helps because people are not too far from the, so you don't have far to travel, especially like your stateside or your regular core.
Yeah, everybody live right around. They can walk down by the Panyard every evening and get in that practice and put in that work every evening. A lot of work every evening. Sometime on a Sunday and all we come out and jam.
And what about you personally, Kendall? How is this arranging working out for you?
Well, this is basically the whole year I do music. I am the arranger for the band, stateside, Panorama, everything. So it's something that I get accustomed to over the years. Yeah.
And what about your grounding in the whole thing? Wendell, of course, is that your brother? Is that
Wendell Bowen, I'm a father.
the old man?
I grew up in the band from small.
Right.
From baby, they carry me in the Panyard. So I grew up in the band and I become the arranger for the band now. Yeah.
Was it on his prompting or is this something that you just kind of naturally got involved in, or did your old man kind of prompt you?
When I was younger, yes, they forced me to go in the Panyard. But I had love it as well. But you know, sometimes you didn't want to go. You didn't want to go to practice. You rather stay home and play game or something.
Yeah, play football.
Yeah. So it has certain days they forced me to go, certain days I willingly take up myself and go. But I was always into it and love it. So I will give my all.
That's good. And what about a competition like this? I mean, when you sit back and you think about this, I mean, do you pinch yourself sometimes that here I am, I was part of this band as a little child, here I am now taking the band to a national semi-finals and possibly onto a national final?
Well, that in itself I feel great about, because knowing that I was just a player in the band from small growing up and became the arranger for the band, not only stateside but for Panorama as well. Right? I feel very, very, very good about myself in terms of that, because yeah, I take any band into Panorama. We make the semi-finals. Hopefully, we will make the finals, and I just hope for the best.
Well, and tell me a little bit about the music itself and what you were trying to do with this particular arrangement.
Well, the name of the tune is Out and Bad. So to me, I didn't want to make it too rough, but it had to have some roughness in it as well. Right, so it had some nice parts, Out and Bad, and it had some nice musical parts as well. So it varies. Some parts good and nice, some parts are rough it up, because it's Out and Bad, so you had to give them it. It's bad, Out and Bad.
Well, that's good, because I mean, I could hear the music, of course, that hook line, the Out and Bad hook, you know. I saw you do variations with it, and you know, the basses, they were talking to us, you know.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with the basses as well. Lots of work and practice for them to actually grab the bass line. The bass line was fierce, I'm sure about that.
Right, you could hear it when you know, and I suppose that as somebody with a trained ear and they know what they're listening, you know, what they're listening to, would really appreciate the kind of work that arrangers do, because some of it is very intricate and you know, not everybody will catch it, you know, when they play it. Sometimes you have to listen to it 3-4 times and then you listen to it a year from now, you say, but you put that in there, but you say, Kendall really put that inside of there, you know, and you know, so that's why I tell people judging is a difficult thing, you know, because you know, they kind of have an idea, you know, what arrangers are doing, so they kind of follow what you're doing, and I'm sure sometimes you listen to what their comments are and you kind of work with it.
Yeah, and try to get a little bit, you know, they might talk about your introduction, your variation, so you try your best to. Sometimes you actually try to give the judges what they want as well.
Right, I know what you mean, because they're giving you points, you know. As long as they're giving you points, they're giving them everything they want, that they're asking for. But I know that that's part of the balancing act that you have to do. You want to do what you want, but at the same time you also have to be mindful of what they're telling you with their notes, you know, and where you probably need to improve and what you need to clean up here and there, and whatever it is. So, but again, congratulations on a fantastic piece of work, and all the best.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks so much there. That was Kendall Bowen there from the band. Simple song, but no simple performance indeed from them here. Now that takes us to band number 4 now, and this is a former champion band, Rima Golden Symphony, and this is a band that has really done it all in this category, and of course Terence BJ Marcel is no stranger to the big yard. So we're getting ready for the Rima Golden Symphony, band number 4. as they get ready to perform for us here by the Priority Bus Route in Arima. Marvin Connor is the tuner. Keon Augustine is the leader. This Melody Suite by Timothy Watkins, the Baron. Terence B.J. Marcel is the arranger of the band. And you can just see the players, they're just wiping off their instruments because there was some rain a short while ago. And you can see BJ in front of the band there in the white top as he gets ready to conduct this performance here. Band number 4, Rima Golden Symphony, This Melody Suite.
by DJ
And that is band number 4, and what a performance, an exhilarating performance from Arima Golden Symphony, 7 times Panorama champions in this category, and they certainly threatening another one here. They're really pushing to make it win number 8. What a performance indeed from the boys from Arima, the Arima Golden Symphony. And again with Terence B.J. Marcel arrangements of Timothy Watkins. Of course, this melody suite from 1991, and really putting down really an amazing performance indeed. And really, you can't help, everybody was working almost every second of that performance. There was something happening, and they just seem to be so alive and so rich. The quality of the music just says, although it was quick, there was a lot of pace in it, but you could still get the clarity coming out of it, and it just tells you the capabilities of some of these players, young and old, and they really give a stunning performance here. And you could almost see everybody was just glued to the band, because the music just kind of came at you all the time. And that's Terence B.J. Marcel for you. That's his trademark. He's not a laid-back kind of arranger. He is going to jam it, and jam it hard. And this is a classic example of Terence B.J. Marcel from the start, where you got that kind of in-your-face opening, where he kind of accentuated the basses, and then he kept it going throughout. Now, it's very difficult to maintain that kind of pace throughout a performance, but boy, they certainly gave a stunning display in sustained pace and aggression on the pan, and they really did themselves very, very proud indeed. Remember, the judges are giving you 40 points for arrangement. The general performance would also garner 40 points. The tone will get 10 points, rhythm 10, for a maximum of 100 points. And when you have a band that really lifted the spirits, the carnival spirit really came out in that performance, you want to believe that they will get almost the full 40 points in terms of their general performance. They really did put down an amazing performance here, and they ought to be commended for it. So it looked like it's going to be one of those things. The judges, I don't envy the judges at all. Remember, we're live here on 360 TV as we continue our coverage of semi-final Saturday here at the Victoria Square for Panorama, the the small conventional steel orchestras for Panorama 2023. And no doubt, what a performance here from the Arima Golden Symphony Orchestra. And we've just been joined here by Carleen Thomas, who's the treasurer of the band. And this, of course, is the Arima Golden Symphony, 7 times Panorama champions. You think you all can make it 8 this year?
Definitely, we will definitely win this year's Panorama Championship.
Confidence, there's no need.
Full of confidence.
And but I mean, this was a stunning performance.
And it might be, or most likely be, the best performance that they already have for the day.
Yeah,
although I know that there is yet to come.
Yeah, there are a lot of bands to come. Yeah.
Definitely, we are not afraid. And we did it once, 7 times. We could do it again.
And the thing about this is BJ's bread and butter, if you know what I mean. This type of arrangement, he just generates life, if you know what I mean.
Yes, well, BJ has been going from year to year, and apparently, if you would realize that the music became different this year, I don't know if it's the pandemic in him, and he studied, all the music was in his head for the 2 years, but he has a lot to let out this year, coming with pan elders, with the medium category and Exodus in the large. Wishing him and the team of the bands all the best and hope that we would be successful in this.
Well,
in all legs. Hope that he would be successful in all leagues.
But you all have the formula for winning, if you know what I mean.
Definitely.
And based on how the band won previous years, what was the feeling like then, say back in 2017 or when you all last won the competition to what it is now in 2016, for example, when you all won with
apparently
the greatest invention?
The feeling presently has more energy in it. The players and the arranger, everybody as a team work together as a team. We had late night practice, we had early practice, but we prepared and we came for revenge then. Stemming from 2020, we went right down to the bottom of the scale in the finals, and we believe that we should not have been there. In spite of it all, we should not have been there. So this year, 2023, definitely it is going to be Arima Golden Symphony, come what may. And you have heard not the best. In the finals, it would be even better.
So we certainly look forward to that as well. And how are the people now? Your pan theatre is located in a unique location.
Well, definitely we don't have a pan theatre. Right? We've been by the bus route for the past 20. Well, apparently we started there in 2008, and we are presently there, and we are knocking on the doors, not just only asking the pan fraternity, we are calling on the Ministry of Culture, the Prime Minister, whoever it takes involved to get Arima Golden Symphony a theatre. We are well deserving it. Arima Golden Symphony has been in existence for 37 years, coming from Arima, and BJ Marcel and Arima Golden Symphony and Arima All-Stars with BJ Marcel. BJ Marcel, I think, has done his work for Arima and is well deserving of a pan theatre in no other constituency but Arima. And I am calling on the authorities to hear us and give us the opportunity. After 37 years, there were bands that came from behind and they are in permanent spots. Why can't we be given? We've been backing for years and pleading and begging authorities, please, right? Today, as the treasurer of the band, on behalf of the members and the leader, Mr. Terence BJ Marcel, I am asking the authorities to please hear us and give us a home. Don't just think about removing us from the priority bus route, because we are representing culture, Trinidad and Tobago, on a worldwide scale, right? Because you can't tell me today this small band Panorama semi-finals is not launched worldwide, right? So I am asking in the presence of the world to asking authorities to hear us. We are not fighting in any way for anything, but we are asking, please give Arima Golden Symphony a home. We are well deserving this opportunity.
I want to find out something, because the other band is getting ready to perform. What is this about Arima? When you say Parang, you have about 2,000 Parang bands in Arima. You say football, is about 400 football teams in Arima. You say pan, you're just breeding pans all over the place. What it is about Arima and culture, sport and culture, quickly.
Well, definitely, as they say, the wise men come from the east, and the east is totally gifted, and there is much more to come. As you would see, my grandson Malachi Marcel, I want to big him up, 10-year-old Malachi Marcel, because he did our band well, performing on the front line, coming from a mini conductor straight into a front line is not no easy task, but he is also gifted too. And I ask God that He would bless us and help us to be at the top at the end of the day, if not in the semis, but in the finals, right?
Thanks so much, Madam
Yes,
Treasurer. We look forward to that
Thank you very much.
And that was band number 4 there, the Arima Golden Symphony. We get ready for West Side Symphony from Patience Hill in Tobago, the first of 7 bands out of the sister isle of Tobago. And of course, Joel Anderson is the leader. Dwight Alfred is the tuner. Calypso Music for David Rudder is the tune of choice. And Michael Gabriel is the arranger for band number 5, West Side Symphony, playing David Rudder's Calypso Music from 1987. That is band number 5 there, the first of 7 out of the sister isle of Tobago, the West Side Symphony. Of course, Pan Theatre, Patience Hill in Tobago, and again led by Jewel Anderson, playing David Rudder's calypso music with Michael Gabriel, the arranger of the band. So fantastic performance again from the bands, and we all know how determined these Tobago bands are. They've really been kicking up a storm over the years, and in 2019 the West Side Symphony played Bacchanal. In 2020 they had Smile, and now in 2023 calypso music is the tune of choice for them. So David Rudder is obviously very much alive in the business, and his music continues to generate affection, and especially when it's given new life by some of these arrangers, it just speaks to the quality of the music. And congratulations to them and to the West Side Symphony and their rendition of the band. So it's certainly good to see the young arrangers taking the chance with the music, and especially the legends of the art form. And because this song would have been played by several bands previously, but it's how well they are able to adapt and adjust whatever it and not sound like another band from another arranger from previously. So it certainly is a big challenge. And speaking of challenge, when we get to band number 6, you'll understand what I mean by that, because Musical Gems Steel Orchestra is going to be performing in position number 6, and they're choosing an all-time great. Certainly is going to be one of those things, and they hail from the Paragon Sports Club and Cookery. Well, they did their rehearsals and they did their performance from the preliminaries at the Paragon Sports Club in Cookery there. So it's been a nice journey for them, and now they're in a position here where they're ready to launch, playing Pan by Storm, and that is an all-time favorite in terms of calypso music, panorama music, any kind of steel band music. And it really just reminds you of Ken Professor Fillmore, and what an amazing piece of music he laid down there. And of course, it was certainly, it will live on for quite a number of years. What name it is? Okay, Miguel. And I think we've just been joined here by Michael Gabriel, the arranger for the band. And Michael, congratulations on a fine performance from West Side Symphony.
Thank you very much.
What has this journey been like for you?
Journey has been a little difficult, but I guess nothing ever with anything comes
easy, right?
So we roll with the punches and we did what we have to do. To reach to the stage.
But the players seem to enjoy the music.
Yeah. My thing was calypso. I found that, being a young person myself, I found that our generation is so disconnected from what I would call the blueprint music of Trinidad and Tobago society. And that's why I wanted to do calypso music, because I know it's a song that the young people will know, but it's still a song from the 70s, 80s, somewhere around there, so that they could bridge that connection.
Well, it certainly is. The song is from 1987.
Right.
And but David Rudder, I suppose once you tell them, well, it's Rudder's music we're playing.
Yes.
That kind of fuels some passion for them, because they know his legacy in that regard. But in terms of how they sort of gravitated to the actual music when you laid it out for them, how you felt they responded to that?
I think,
or was it a struggle to get them to play it?
It wasn't a struggle to get them to play it, because I think we as Trimbagonians especially Afro-Trombegonians, we are naturally drawn to rhythmic patterns, the way we walk, the way we talk, everything. So doing calypso music and being able to play with rhythms along the line of can you hear that distant drum? That was the main theme I would have used in the entire song. Can you hear that distant drum? So I would have made it rhythmic so that the players could naturally gravitate to what is natural to them, what comes natural to them.
Right, and it makes sense because, I mean, it's Trinidad, it's like Brazilian football.
Yes.
You know, when a Brazilian stand up over football, he looks different to anybody in any part of the world. You know, they look different. And it's the same thing with a Trini behind the pan. There's a kind of synergy between the person and the instrument in that regard.
Right.
And you know, they get 40 points for the general performance,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So, and now what did the judges say to you from the preliminaries that you felt you had to work on to come to this point?
One of the things that the judges told me from the preliminaries are to open up the song a little more, open up parts a little more, which is what we had intended to do in the first place. So the judges' comments were quite along the lines of what we already knew what we had to do.
Right.
Right, so we really appreciated the comments from the judges.
And how much work you were able to put in
oh my God, the work. The work in itself is so difficult because I'm doing my master's here in Trinidad. I work at Queen's Hall. I'm currently the arranger for Harmonite Steel Orchestra for large category. So continuing to take on Westside, who's in Tobago.
Right.
That traverse from Trinidad and Tobago.
How often do you make it to Tobago?
Whenever I.
Twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes?
About 3 times.
3 times a week?
Yeah. Sometimes if I get the time, I stay over for an entire week.
Right.
And then they may not see me for next week, and then I will come for a weekend. And if I have 3 days within the week that I'm off or have free time, I go to Tobago, jump a plane and go to Tobago.
Right. And that's the beauty of a twin island like ours, because I would imagine some players also follow you to Tobago.
Yes, and they and I enjoyed so much. The management at Westside has always been, even though we're an unsponsored band, they try their best to accommodate us and show us that Tobagonian hospitality each and every time we come to Tobago. So it's always a great feeling to go back and forth right here in our society.
Right. Well, that's good, and I must commend you on a really strong performance the semi-finals. Much improved from the preliminaries.
Thank you.
Which I think is understandable because you put in the work for it, and now it's left to be seen what the judges say. So you mean your sleepless nights may not be over because now they took a decision today to go from 14 bands to 16 bands.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right, so now your chances have improved even more now.
Yeah.
So you may have a few more sleepless nights.
Well, it's the carnival season. It all comes with.
So I just warning you, So be prepared, in that regard, and we certainly look forward to a week from today when the Savannah, the big stage, will be the venue, and hopefully we will have Westside there performing. Doing their bit. It's one of 7 bands from the Sister Isle.
It's definitely
you all are the first one of the 7 to be performing here today, and you set the tone for them, and let's see what the others can do.
I bid good luck to all my colleagues and all the people, all the young arrangers who I would have known in Tobago, OJ and Kirsch and the others. Let's all make Tobago proud.
Well, certainly, again, Mikhail, thanks so much, and congratulations again on a job well done. And we look forward to great things coming from the judges. So there you just heard it there from Mikhail Gabriel, and of course the arranger for the Westside Symphony out of the Sister Isle of Tobago. And as you heard, the man is busy. He's working on his masters. He's full-time employee of Queen's Hall and sundry other engagements he's working on. So busy youngster. Now let's get to band number 6. Here, remember, it's 30 bands in all. Musical Gem Steel Orchestra, again, using the Paragon Sports Club and the number 2 Foreshore Lands in Cokerit. Brian Smart is the leader. Gerard Clark is the tuner of the pans. The song Pan by Storm from 1990, a watershed year for Panorama. Ken Professor Fillmore, and of course, designer Prescott did the vocals. And Renwick Lewis is the arranger of this piece here. Let's see how we avoid sounding like Ken Professor, but of course still living true to the music of Ken Professor Fillmore and the VAT 19 Fontclair from 1990. Let's take you stateside now from Musical Gem Steel Orchestra playing in position number 6. They just seem to be a little bit delayed there, and they're one of the smaller bands that we've seen here today, and they take their bows, so they're getting ready to perform. So we take you now for band number 6, Musical Gems, with Pan by Storm, arranged by Renwick Lewis. Band number 6, Musical Gems Steel Orchestra from the Paragon Sports Club and the Foreshore Lands in Cocorite. Pan by Storm with a kind of mellow, very relaxed and very soothing kind of tempo compared to when Ken Professor Fillmore and Funclair played it, where it was paced right through. But of course, Renwick Lewis took a slightly different approach, and he opted to take it in the other direction and made it very sort of slow, melodic, and very musical more than anything else. And no doubt hoping to do something just a little bit different, and hoping that the judges would have sat up and listened to what he was saying, and with the music, that is, and give him the kind of marks that will get him into the final next Saturday at the Queen's Park Savannah. So it's just a question of, I think you're trying to bring him over, so we'll try to get to Renwick Lewis in a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to chat with him in a little while as he comes over. So we certainly look forward to chatting with him, just to hear what his approach was and why he took it so slowly, and we'll see how it goes with him there. But again, that's 6 bands completed so far, and I was really interested to see how he was going to attack this particular composition, because this is a very popular song. So whenever you tackle a song like this, it obviously requires something exceedingly special in order to pull it off. And so Renwick was trying his hand here at something, trying to be different, because most people who play Pan by Storm played it almost at the same pace at which Ken Professor would have played it back in the 90s. So it's really now a question of, did the judges hear what he was trying to say, so to speak? And but only time will tell if they were to get the judges. They were a small band. They clearly didn't have the full complement of the 60 players, but the range is between 45 and 60, so you don't absolutely have to have 60. And based on your ranges, obviously, some people would feel they could pull it off with less than the 60, or with just the 45 minimum, as opposed to trying to go to the full 60. And but we'll see, and it might take an experienced band and an experienced arranger to pull something like that off, and still not, and in terms of the eyes of the judges, not miss the additional players on this day. So 6 bands down already, but we still have some ways to go, because it's just about 6 o'clock here in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, we're live here on 360 TV with the Small Conventional Steel Orchestra semi-final here at Victoria Square in Port of Spain. And originally the 14 bands were supposed to be going forward. Now we have 16. The executive took that decision earlier today, so it's going to be 16 bands making their way to the judges, to the finals, and the judges now will mark all the bands, and then they will give out the marks for their 16 bands that are going forward to the. But we do have with us Mr. Renwick Lewis, who has just joined us, and Pan by Storm. Tell me your thinking behind choosing that particular selection.
Renwick had that tune in mind for a long time. He thought it was an appropriate tune that he could do differently from the deceased Ken Fillmore to the Ken Professor Fillmore. And Renwick is a musical storyteller. He takes a tune and he tells a story. about the tune, and you can hear it, you can see it developing, and I think he did a good job with this one.
And I was curious to ask you about that, and in terms of the speed at which he played it. He certainly played it a lot slower than how it was presented to us originally back in 1990.
Yes, because he expresses himself in that kind of way. He has a laid-back approach to his music, but his music is full of orchestration, and it is very musical, in my humble opinion. And he prefers it laid back than playing it in a rushed way.
Right. And how did the players adapt to that? I mean, were they comfortable playing it at that speed?
Yes, Renwick's music is very technical. It is not easy to play, and the players spend a lot of time trying to understand and play the music. But I think in the end they did a very good job, and I'm very proud of them.
Well, that's good. And now in terms of your numbers, you weren't one of the largest bands that they had there, but certainly was it difficult to get players, or were you comfortable with the with the numbers?
Yes. Oh yes, it was very difficult to get players, and we were able to meet the minimum. And if we get into the finals, we are going to go up to the maximum, because we think that players will be interested in joining us.
Right.
Because we are in a final.
Well, that's good, and hopefully, that they all will get there, and that the players. I'm really interested to see what the judges think of the performance, because, like I said, this is kind of out of the ordinary in terms of the speed, the music that he presented here tonight. And we'll wait to see what the judges say. Once again, thanks so much for stopping by. Wishing you all the best. Congratulations on the performance today. And we just wait to see if you guys are. Now remember, the judges have said, the executive rather said 16 bands will go through, not 14.
Yes, I heard.
So they've added 2 additional bands. So hopefully you all will be among those, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for stopping by, and of course we're looking forward to what they have to offer in the final should they get their musical gem. Steel Orchestra. Brian Smart is the leader of the band, and of course Jared Clark is the tuner. Renwick Lewis was the arranger of the music, and he played it at certainly at a totally different speed. Hoping to, of course, woo the judges and get them to understand what he was trying to say and do with the music. But that's 6 bands now. We're getting ready for band number 7. And the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra, and a rather unusual name when you consider Sound of Music, the movie. One of my favorite movies, I must say. And the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra from Marigold Crescent, Coconut Drive in Mova. Tekla Ford Rodriguez is the leader of the band. Mr. Duncan is the tuner. Never Again from 2023 by Marshall Montano. Akil Arundel is the arranger of the music. And of course, Akil, very pronounced as an arranger. And I look forward to also hearing what he does with this song from this year, 2023. The band number 7, the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra from Marigold Crescent, Coconut Drive in Mova. As they get themselves ready for this one, I saw Akil doing some work with a young band out in the Mayaro area, trying to get the Radic Steel Orchestra back up and running. And here he is now with the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra from Mova. So as they get ready to perform in position number 7, they were 228 points in the preliminaries, and they were sitting 22nd overall. In fact, they were tied with Musical Gems. And now they get ready for Marshall Montano's Never Again from Sound of Music Steel Orchestra.
from number 71 Marigold Crescent in
That was
Coconut
band
Drive,
number
Nova.
7 there, Sound of Music Steel Orchestra. Of course, Never Again, another very musical arrangement here at Victoria Square at its semi-final action in the small conventional steel orchestra semi-final night here as the night is upon us, and band number 7 has just laid on a very strong marker. They're very musical and very melodic, slow, but you could follow the music, and it obviously was a scenario there where you could hear Arundel Akil trying to say something with the music and really putting on a very polished performance, and you know, it's almost Bradley-like, if I could use the term, because even the phrasing was that of Bradley, and it certainly speaks to that, and I think a lot of people would probably get that impression whenever he they listen to the music. They could tell that you know, that he is from that school where they tend to be more musical, and they just take the phrasing, just the way they set up the music. It's about that, telling the story, but you could kind of hear almost everything that they're playing inside it. And I'm really proud of the effort from the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra from out there in 71 Marigold Crescent in Coconut Drive in Mova. In fact, I go to the pool in Coconut Drive in Mova, so I've seen the people running to practice at times, and certainly I think all of Mova should be justifiably proud. Certainly all of Coconut Drive should be very proud of this performance by these youngsters here. A lot of youths in the band, and they certainly accredited themselves very well indeed, handling a very difficult arrangement of a song that is only now beginning to grow on people. So it's going to be interesting to hear what Akil has to say in terms of what they're doing. Of course, they're coming just before the defending champions, so you know it, and the defending champions are coming with Dollar Wine, and I had the pleasure of hearing them last night. In fact, you couldn't, once you're anywhere close to the Savannah, you couldn't help but hear them. They were making a statement, and here they are tonight now. Can they replicate that? They were 1 point behind the leaders after the preliminaries, but I'm sure they might be looking at that point and saying nothing. O.J. Richards must be thinking he could easily surpass that or make up that point. So we just have to wait to see what's going on. Akil. And Akil is here with us, so we'll find out from him a little bit about his feelings about the performance. First of all, Akil, congratulations on a truly amazing. I was telling our viewers that it sounded Bradley-ish, but it's also Arundel's stamp on the music, so to speak. How you felt about the band's performance tonight?
Well, I must say that I'm glad that I am around long enough to have a Arundel stamp as well, number one. And based on the Bradley stamp was something that was deliberate, because the band, the Sound of Music, came out of Desperados. As far as it was explained to me by the manager of the band, Miss Tekla Rodriguez, her husband were at the Desperados, and when they moved from the hill, she found that the hill's not alive with the Sound of Music again. So she started a band. She and her husband started this band called the Sound of Music. So I really wanted to capture that moment more for her than anything else now. You know, she wanted that Desperados song. Bradley would have been one of my first I was an understudy from Bradley. San City, the band that I'm from, would have had workshops, would have been the only band would have brought Bradley from the north and to the south to have workshop with Southern arrangers. And I was like about 14, 15 that time, doing a little small thing, and he had a great impact on my awareness to music, especially chords and that kind of thing. Right. And although I had that influence, I really wanted to have my own brand. So I never really venture into trying to have his style, but because of this particular instance, I just went ahead.
And I'm curious to ask you here about what is the one thing that Bradley told you about, even at that early age, that you still sort of hold on to today when you arrange your music?
Well, he said to me that all genres of music, and for those who don't know what genre is all different types, whether it's Latin, whether it's pop, and especially calypso, has a dialect. And for all the arrangers who just doing all of these quavers, run pa da 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 da, I'm not doing a nice kaiso dialect. Pam pa dam pum pibe dam pabede.
Halfway.
Yeah, if you ain't playing the dialect of the music, you ain't doing nothing. And that is something that stood out to me. So even when I'm doing my style, I looking for that kaiso phrases, whether it's the dance, the run, or the beginning, after the beginning, or something. But it must be like when we speak as Trinidadians, we have a dialect. When even right in Tobago, they have English and they don't speak like us. They have a dialect as well. So we must identify our dialect when we are arranging as well, and that is something that stood out to me. I hope that other arrangers listening and take note.
But you know, you have an even bigger task than just the Panorama, because the community in which this band originates is one that has been so stigmatized over the years that you kind of you have to push them.
Yes.
In a different direction.
Yeah. So it have that aspect of it has been a big challenge as well. And you wouldn't believe, Councillor St. Hilaire, who is bordering with Mr. Kwame, I believe, not Mr. Kwame, Mr. Antoine. Both councillors worked together with me to make sure that this was possible today. But Mr. St. Hilaire in particular came out at the preliminary rounds, and I never see a councillor toad pan like this guy before, because he was so amazed that he is so amazed that he said right in that corner they had a murder 3 weeks ago, and you came and bring this pan side here and bring this whole vibe, and that was something special to me. And I observed this gentleman toting bass like
nothing.
If all politicians was like him, I mean, that would be a better place.
Just quickly, because the other band is getting ready to perform, how you felt about the overall performance tonight?
I think that when you're still with lemon, just to make lemonade, had a group of young children who could have hardly play, and I would have had to tailor my music to suit, and I think that they execute well.
But I thought you gave them quite a bit, and I thought they handled it very well. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the final Saturday, so you have some sleepless nights heading up to that, working with them. But I'm sure they look eager, and I'm sure they'll be looking forward to that. Akil, thanks so much, and congratulations again in doing it. So that was Akin Araldel there from the Sound of Music Steel Orchestra. That was band number 7. That brings us to band number 8, the defending champions out of the sister isle of Tobago, Uptown Fascinators. Their Pantheatre is at the corner of Plymouth and Idlewild Road in Tobago. And of course, Salisha James Martin is the leader of this band. Augustus Peters is the tuner of the pans. The tune of choice, Dollar Wine from 1991, Colin Lucas. And of course, composed by Colin Lucas and sung by Colin Lucas himself. And of course, arranged for the band by O.J. Richards, the defending champion. And no doubt O.J. who of course is going to team up with Ramsey to come and arrange for Silver Stars again this year. But that's in the large band category. Their time will come. Right now it's war between those two, and he wants to lay down a marker here this evening as if to say we are not giving up this title very easily. Band number 8 from the corner of Plymouth and Idlewild Roads in Tobago, the Uptown Fascinators with Dollar Wine by Colin Lucas from 1991, arranged by O.J. Richards. Brace yourself, this is going to be hot. That was band number 8 here, mashing up the roadway here at Victoria Square with another stunning performance indeed here. The Uptown Fascinators Steel Orchestra really throwing out the challenge there, as if to say, we're not giving up this title so easily. You're going to have to earn it. And in order to earn it, you're going to have to beat us to earn it. And boy, they certainly lay down a marker here. And they're challenging everyone to catch them if you can. And what an arrangement there by O.J. Richards. Really a stunning performance by the Uptown Fascinators, the defending champions, and showing that they haven't lost any of their appetite for this title. And they started with 271 points. They came in with 271 points. And they're really looking forward to holding on to that title and making it to the big yard on Saturday, where I'm sure they'll add a few more tricks. Talk about dynamics, talk about clarity, talk about pace, talk about power. They had it all inside of there. And certainly they also had that carnival spirit. It's what people have kind of grown accustomed to. When they talk about steel band music, this is what they like. It's not that the other approaches don't fit, but boy, the people love this because they can relate to this so much easier. And really, they laid it out there, and they kind of, it's almost as if to say, catch me if you can. What a performance by the Uptown Fascinators Steel Orchestra, playing Dollar Wine from 1991. Hey, I'm not even sure how many members of the band would have been born by then, but boy, they certainly enjoyed playing it, and they played it almost to perfection here at the semi-finals of the small conventional steel orchestra competition for 2023. And of course, it's coming to you live here on the 360 TV, and we hope you're enjoying it, because it's certainly been a pleasure bringing it to you from Victoria Square in Port of Spain. Band number 8 making their way off stage, and of course really putting everybody on notice that this is their title, and they are not prepared to just give it up. And OJ has just joined me, and OJ, congratulations. I was making the point to our viewers, you just made the statement you're not ready to give up this title just yet.
Not yet, definitely not yet. Definitely not. We hard, we played hard, you know, we executed the music just like we would like to.
You know, last night I was in the Savannah,
right,
and I was saying to the viewers, I couldn't help but hear the music, because
really?
You all were just pounding it out there, you know, kind of going it over and over, right, trying to get it right.
I think the approach that I took, we did the bulk of the work early up in the Panorama, and the results would have shown that we don't have to overdo. So what we did, we just came, we do small minor changes, right, but effective changes, and then we just there and just work on little practice sessions, run it a little bit, and then just ease off. We're not killing the band, we're not killing off the band, going for hours or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, we're just tightening up what we have to tighten up, and then just leave.
But this week, you know, I think it goes without saying that you all will be part of the finals, because I don't see 16 other bands being better than you all, because today they took the decision they'll go from 14 to 16 bands.
Right, correct.
Will make it through to the finals, and I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, you know, you never can. Stranger things have happened.
Yes.
But I don't see 16 other bands being ahead of you all in that regard. So it really now, I ask the question, what next? Because do you stay, let's just say after tonight you all are in the finals, the bands stay here, or you all go home?
The bands go back to Tobago. Actually, right now we're about to push straight on to the port right now, but my operation, I like to move with preparation. Right, so we would have already started making our finals night changes from even before semi-finals. Right. So just in case, I mean, you can't go wrong. If we don't make it into the finals, then we just, you don't lose anything. But with the time frame that we have, we started doing the small little changes for finals before, and just holding back until finals to put them in. So we are generally prepared and ready to go back to the finals.
So you have 7 days.
Exactly. So we started
to do your damage.
We went ahead of the work. Use time wisely now.
Right.
So
makes sense.
Just to tighten up some more now, and we should be fine.
Well, and who chose this song?
I chose this song. I actually like the older style songs because they have a lot of more music that you could work with, a lot of motifs that you could work with there, and the way I choose a song, it has to have something that I know I can make a hit out of.
Right.
I don't just choose because it's an old song. I'm not just gonna choose any random old song. It has to be something that would resonate with somebody. If they hear what song you all playing, Dollar Wine, wow, that's a.
And I don't know if you heard the response of the crowd behind me, but when you all finished performing, they were like, I think you all got a standing ovation. They were full of applause for the performance. And I think it's almost like they were hearing something different.
Right.
And what I think worked as well, the band before sounded sweet, but their whole approach was more Bradley-esque, as I told them.
Correct,
it was more that way. It was good music, but it was a different approach entirely.
So then this new style that comes.
Right, so this now came with a little more pace, a little more up-tempo.
Power, right, yeah.
It's like it jumped
wake
everybody.
Up, I understand what you're saying, I understand.
Everybody, and it could have worked out that way because they heard this sweet music, and then they came and
they have variety. So
they had this different approach now. This sweet music again, but it's a whole different flavor.
Right. I understand you.
And I thought they responded to it because somebody like you have right behind you sitting down here.
Yes.
Who is part of the pan business all his life, little Eddie Hart, and even Eddie. I'm not sure if he stood up, but he was certainly giving you all applause for a fantastic performance here this evening. You should feel good because I think the band should feel good. Because I think the hard work is paying off.
Yes, I'm proud of the band. I think they gave me what I asked for. I just told them, I always speak with them right before. I said, just put your trust in me. Give me what I'm asking for and I wouldn't let you down. And they definitely gave me what I was asking for. So it's on me now to just take the band to the finals again. And
push them forward again.
Yes,
now, how has life changed for you with the title? And how have those things kind of impacted how you view music, how you tackle music now?
I'm gonna be real with you. After the first win, coming from that, it was actually extremely difficult because I'm a young arranger. I don't have as much experience and guidance. So then now you start to think, what next after you win?
You start beating up yourself now.
And then I started overthinking, but. I'm a person I would always ask, so I call some people. Mr. Sion Gomez, he always helped me out a lot. He's a UTT instructor of mine. Even some of my peers, Stephon West, he would have won the medium band category. I would have spoken with him and I'd be like, how you just approach it because you just win. So now you're trying to overthink if you don't want to do too much, or if they're gonna sound like the same, or if people are gonna think that the first win was just a fluke. So then I started overthinking and. They just had to tell me, no, stop that. Don't overthink. You have your talent. Just trust in the talent that you have. And that's what kind of helped me drive forward to put forward what I did. I couldn't do it by myself. It was the help that I had around.
Right.
And that pushed the approach for the music. So I just trusted in my music, trusted in my talent, and I just let it flow.
Right. Well, it makes sense because, and that is part of the maturation process because now you know what it is like to go through that. You get the high of winning, and now you kind of beat up yourself because you're trying to figure want to do better the next time.
Yes.
But then you realize you will do better because you have that experience of winning. But now you know how to win.
Yes.
So that's the other experience. That's the experience speaking to you now.
Yes.
Because you know how to win. You know what it took to get there.
Definitely.
And now it's just a question of replicating that with different music or new music. But you still. You have a formula now. You know what to do, what kind of hours you need to put in, that kind of thing. So I'm not saying it becomes easier, but at least you can manage things a little bit better and maybe even add new elements.
And I think a winning arrangement is probably like 20% the arranger,
Right.
The rest of it is the quality of the band, the vibes, the energy, and a lot of things that has to be lined up perfectly. A lot of it. Like that could be band
Plus
position.
the music too, the tune that you, the
exact
selection.
tune of choice is very important as well. So all these things combined. So I can't really take all the credit on me, myself, and I, And then when you learn and understand your band, because some bands like to practice late, some bands like to practice early, some like to practice till whatever hours, some like to practice short. Just come in. So I understood the band, I understood what makes them work good. And we just tweak that and we have a nice relationship growing there, and it just works out nice right now.
Well, that's great. And of course, 7 Tobago bands.
Yes.
So I know some of your players might actually gravitate to a couple of other bands and vice versa. Players come from other bands and work it out. But how is that working? How do you kind of share the talent, if you know what I mean?
It's all about understanding. I have a good relationship with all the Tobago arrangers and even Trinidad arrangers, and we would understand that, we would need the help from the other players. It's just about communication. Because if we call practice, I would probably ask, all right, well, is Panthers practicing or always practicing, what time, whatever. But the players will come to me and say, hey, tonight I'm going by this band, I'm going by that band. We just work it out so that we don't have any huge problems.
True. Well, OJ, congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you guys on
I really
Saturday.
appreciate it.
It certainly is there. The Uptown Fascinators, the defending champions, laying down a marker here and daring everybody to catch them if you can. So if we go from one Tobago band to another Tobago band, Our Boys from Kirk Street in Scarborough. Anselm Campbell is the leaders. Sherwin Fessa Pierre is the tuners of the Pan Ecstasy from 1991. Ken Professor Fillmore. Keith the designer Prescott, the man who vocalized the music. Anselm Moon Campbell is the arranger. So let's take you stateside now for band number 9, Our Boys, playing Pan Ecstasy from 1991, arranged by Anselm Moon Campbell. And that was band number 9 there. Our Boys Steel Orchestra out of the sister isle of Tobago from Kirk Street in Scarborough, to be exact. Pan Ecstasy by Ken Professor Fillmore, arranged for the band by Anselm Moon Campbell. And playing in position number 9. And of course, following on the heels of the defending champions, the Uptown Fascinators Steel Orchestra. It was always going to be a challenge, and I thought they did a pretty good job trying to get people to kind of forget the mayhem that Uptown Fascinators created by producing a quality performance of their own, and certainly making themselves, doing themselves proud here at the Victoria Square. Remember, we're live here on 360 TV, covering the semi-final, Pantrimbago's Small Conventional Steel Orchestra semi-final round, and no doubt it's our pleasure to be able to bring it to you. 30 bands in all. We started just after 4 o'clock. In fact, the very first band sounded their first notes at about 4:14 or thereabouts, and we've been going ever since. We had a little bit of rain, but that was also that was just just a little blip, because we haven't had any rain since, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. And I think the bands have been churning out some amazing performances, one after the other, and in their own inimitable style, no doubt, trying to win the judges' nut, and hopefully things will work out for them. And remember, originally we had 14 bands going forward, but as we heard, the executive took a decision, so we'll be going forward with 16 bands this time around. So it's left to be seen what happens there. And as fate would have it, we have a third Tobago band. In fact, we have 4 Tobago bands in a row, literally, and you couldn't make this up. We have Uptown Fascinators, we just heard from Our Boys, and now we have Alpha Pan Pioneers, and they are to be followed by Tech New Eastside Dimension from Bell Garden Main Road in Tobago. So 4 Tobago bands in a row, and we only up to the third of those in Alpha Pan Pioneers, coming up in position number 10. So we'll be getting to them in a short while, but what a competition we have in our hands. And I'll say you don't want to be a judge here tonight, because this is going to be a real challenge for anybody, literally. And so it's going to be a tough challenge for these judges here this evening. And let me just give you the names of these distinguished individuals who have this unenviable task of judging these bands and pleasing the very fan lovers here in TNT. No doubt a difficult task, if ever there was one. And again, Dr. Roger Henry, Joanna Short, Kenrick Noel, Lorna Conyett, Michelle Dorridge, and Joanna Ragbir. They are the judges tasked with judging these performances here this evening. And of course, as I said, we just heard from Our Boys Steel Orchestra. Anselm Moon Campbell is here with us. So Anselm, congratulations on a strong performance. And I say that in the context of being able to kind of let the judges and even let the supporters kind of forget what went before in terms of the performance by the defending champions. But then you had to come now and kind of wipe that out and present something to them that allowed them to kind of get caught up in your music. And I thought you all did that beautifully.
Yeah, we tried our best. It was challenging.
Right.
Building up to, coming off for 2 years of the pandemic. players, the unavailability of players, but everything worked out in the end after God. So.
Well, I know, and I was asking OJ that, because I think some of the bands have a good understanding, and the arrangers, he said, have a good understanding, and the players, because you would have players that play with other bands.
Yes, of course.
Because it's a limited pool.
Yeah.
And how has that been working for you? I know it's a challenging bit.
Yeah, it is really challenging in terms of numbers. Because when small has a call for 60, sometimes you see 15 tonight, and then you see a next 50 and next 20, and you never get the full 60 because there's a limited amount of players. So we had to solve it. We had to find some way to solve it.
But what about the performance tonight? How you felt about the performance?
It was wonderful. Leading up to it, it wasn't, it doesn't feel like we were going to, because we had a lot of challenges, and for after that performance, I feel pleased.
Well, that's good. So it was worth it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it was worth it for you in that regard. And now Tobago has 7 bands.
Yeah, 7 bands.
And there's not other regions have fair number as well. North have I think 9, South might have 7, or East rather would have 7 also. But what it is about these Tobago bands, because in the medium category you all do a similar thing. You all have like 4 almost shoo-ins to make it through to the finals, every year. What it is?
I think it's a level of consistency at the part of the bands. It's a level of discipline. You come out to win. But that is the odds are stacked against you.
Right.
You have that mentality. You want to win.
And what I also realize is that you all travel well. You all travel with some supporters as well. They come to support the band. And they're not afraid. I was in the Savannah last night watching the bands work, and I saw a lot of
and we have supporters in Trinidad
who come out to support the bands. And our boys is kind of like the name in Tobago Steel Band.
Well, the band is actually 68 years old, 69 this year. The band was formed in 1954. Patrick Arnold, Boy Blue, the founders.
And of course it was a large band. Well, back then everybody was large. Everybody was large, And now you all in this category. But I think I get the sense you all are building.
Yes.
To probably return to that level. At some point in the future. But I'm glad that you at least, like I said, the odds were against you here because the defending champions, of course, they came really strong. But what I liked is the fact that you kind of took your time, kind of let the breeze blow that music away, and then you presented your music.
Fresh,
something different, and this song, I mean, I heard the Lil Pan by Storm inside of there, because it's Ken Professor,
Professor, it's passing and everything.
But it certainly was, I thought it went down well, because I thought the fans really appreciated it, because they heard something a little bit different, something, it wasn't as fast, it was a little more melodic, and it had a nice groove to it. It had something different inside of there. So I'm really hoping the judges, because that is always the challenge, is what the judges are hearing, and if you're able to present
I think the more thing I do more try to concentrate on portability in terms of how the parts come over from different sections.
Right.
You can't sacrifice this song for speed.
Right.
Play fast and if song
you lose something.
You lose the essence of the song.
But that's good, and I'm really happy because I thought the players enjoyed playing it too. I looked at them and you could see, you can see it in the faces as well. And I would imagine as an arranger, that is paramount because they have to execute it, so they have to enjoy it.
When we do the music as arrangers, we have to depend so much on the players because they have to actually present the end product.
Right.
So we actually feed off of them.
That's great, but I thought you guys did a fantastic job. I'm really looking forward to seeing our boys in the final again.
Peace and thanks.
So Anson Moon Campbell, thanks so much for stopping by, and all the best going forward. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday.
All right, okay.
Certainly it is there. So that was band number 9, Our Boys Steel Orchestra, and really a big band in Tobago, and they now lay down their body of work, and it's up to the judges now. But that takes us to band number 10. So we almost 1/3 of the way through. Alpha Pan Pioneers from Scarborough RC Church Grounds in Bacolet in Tobago. Matthias Marfan is the leader of the band. Cale Noel is the tuner. Cheers to Life is the tune of choice from 2016. of course, Casey Phillips, Corey Hart, and Kyle Phillips, voiced by Aaron Voice St. Louis, the man they call Voice, and of course, Keyshawn Julian and Marina Marfan, the arrangers of this particular piece of music. Cheers to Life is the tune of choice. Band number 10, the Alpha Pioneers, another band from the sister isle of Tobago, one of 7, and the 3rd in a row right now tonight. They're following our boys and who followed Uptown Fascinators Steel Orchestra. So band number 10, they're just making sure that everything is in order, looking nice and resplendent in their blue t-shirts. Took their bow, they're ready to go. Let's take you stateside now for the Alpha Pioneers, band number 10, Cheers to Life, arranged by Keyshawn Julian and Marina Marfan.
band number 10.
The Alpha Pioneers Steel Orchestra there with their Cheers to Life from 2016 by Voice, and of course arranged by Keyshawn Julian and Marina Marfan. So a big congratulations to them. I thought they got a good response from the crowd behind us as they no doubt celebrating the performance that they just heard, and it was really a good, solid performance indeed from the Alpha Pioneers, based at the Scarborough RC Church grounds in Bacolod in Tobago. And no doubt it's been a strong performance indeed, and talk about putting out everything, and really she almost, like, after performing, it's almost like she almost collapsed. She was so into the music that right after she performed, it's almost as if she had nothing else to give. And but I'm sure they'll take her to the paramedics and they will be able to ensure that everything is a-okay with her. And that's the other thing about some of these performances. Some of these players are basically they would have left home a long time ago. You're not quite sure if they had eaten, because they're so energized to try to come and perform, and then they still have to wait before they could actually perform. So it's not a straightforward thing. You just show up, perform, and then you go home. So it's been a lot of times you basically have to put in the performance. You have to make sure that everything is okay, and so it might just be she was just so overjoyed with the performance, so much into the performance and giving off so much energy that she just had nothing left after that performance indeed. But again, another solid performance from the Alpha Pioneers out of Bacolod in Tobago, playing Cheers to Life, another popular one from back in 2016. And again, Shugalo is of course Michael Asuna Sugar, but of course it's always about the performers and what they're able to achieve with their performances. And again, it's all about the performance and how they're able to put it all together. And Alpha Pioneers, I thought, did a fantastic job of putting their music together and keeping that Tobago flavor going. And Keyshawn Julian has just joined us. Keyshawn, how you felt about the band's performance tonight?
Man, I feel very good about the performance. Seeing the whole progress of the band through the season, like, it was very poor reason just standing in front of the band, listening to how they executed the piece of music.
I saw you there waving away and you conducted the band.
Yes, indeed.
In front there. But the thing about it is that the players...
So the song we did is Cheers to Life, arranged by myself and Marina Marfan, two Tobago young upcoming arrangers. The entire process, I always say that it was a roller coaster, because some nights you see very few people coming to practice, and you're wondering if things would work out. But in the end, like, when everything just put together, all the pieces of the puzzle just come together, and you see.
And was ready to perform it.
So I always treat the competition like a marathon. You don't want to peak too early while you're rehearsing. So I would say probably like about 3 days before the prelims was when I was like, yes, the pieces of the puzzle coming together, the band coming along good, and it was just to dot the I's and cross the T's, and do the prelims, and then coming into the semi-finals, you know, we worked on some stuff. We looked at what the judges said in the prelims, and we tried to improve on our performance from the prelims.
Well, certainly tonight I thought you got a spectacular performance, you know, based on everything else. The position where you're all playing.
Yes.
Of course, you're playing against a Tobago band. Our boys is like a big name.
Yes,
know, they're the granddaddy, so to
yes,
speak.
And then after TNTech,
they come after TNTech, the defending champion.
Yes,
so you had something to prove, and you had to say something.
Yes, definitely. And you know, people always see us as the church band, the quote-unquote church band, because we come from the churchyard in Tobago, but you know, not because we are this so-called church band doesn't mean that we could.
Don't mean you can't soca.
Exactly. We could soca and we could soca it good. And you know, we came out to really show that, you know, what we are about. We are about vibes, good energy, good vibes, and we come to shell down the place and do it as best as possible as we know it.
I mean, a lot of young players also. In fact, we just saw like a parent, somebody having to lift up one of your players because it's like she gave everything.
Yes,
she didn't have anything left after that.
That player gave her heart out, and well, unfortunately, I think the ambulance have her at the moment, but
sometimes it's just fluids they need to get into her. So that she can revive. Because I've seen it happen before. I've seen it with masqueraders. Sometimes they carry these big heavy costumes, and then when they get off the stage, people don't know how big that stage is in the Savannah. That's 100 meters, you know. So that's a long distance to carry a big mass, you know. And sometimes when they come off the stage, they're so spent.
Yeah, because you give your all, you give your heart, you give your soul into it. These people who doing this for the culture, for the love of the instrument. So yeah, sometimes these things happen.
And it's certainly the glare. But again, let me thank you again, Keyshawn, for a truly amazing performance. And, you know, hopefully the judges will smile on you all and we see you all on Saturday night.
Yes, thanks very much. I hope the judges enjoyed it. I mean, I definitely enjoyed being in front of the band. I think it was a great performance. So we're looking forward to see how we could improve if we make it. Or I should say when we make it into the finals, because I'm being positive. I'm thinking positive.
Positive thinking indeed. Alpha Pan Pioneers there with another very, very encouraging performance indeed from the band, from the Sister Isle of Tobago, one of 7 in these semi-finals. And you know, when I think back, I think there's only one band that didn't make it from Tobago.
Yes.
Based on all the bands, it's 8 bands.
Yes.
That got judged.
Yes, and one band didn't make it.
You know, so that just tells you the strength of the Tobago bands. Congratulations again.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Look forward to you all on Saturday.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much, Keyshawn. And that is one of the arrangers, one of the co-arrangers for the band, the Alpha Pan Pioneers, here with us on 360 TV as we have live coverage of the small conventional steel orchestra semi-finals here at Victoria Square in uptown Port of Spain. And we're getting ready for another Tobago band, the 4th in succession here as they get themselves ready. And here is Kirsch Ramsey, another one of the emerging stars of the Tobago bands. Kirsch Ramsey is the arranger for TNTech New East Side Dimension from Bell Gardens in Tobago on the main road. Elvan Beckles is the leader of the band. Desmond Richardson and Oliver Hospitalis are the tuners of the bands. The tune of choice, I Love Being Me from 1992. Of course, composed by Sugar Aloes, sung by Michael Anthony Osuna, the Sugar Aloes, and of course arranged for the band by Kirsch Ramsey, the very popular Kirsch Ramsey. And of course we saw O.J. Richards earlier. Kirsch and O.J. of course will be arranging for the Silver Star Steel Orchestra in the large conventional category, but they have a war going on. So let's hear what the TNTech New East Side Dimension can come up with.
together, ladies and gentlemen.
The TNTech New East Side Dimension from Bell Gardens on the main road in Tobago. And that is another stunning performance there from, you know, the man, Kirsch Ramsey. And really laid it out on the line here. He knew he had to come with something big because of what has gone before. And boy, he didn't disappoint. He put on a truly stunning performance indeed. And really had those fans talking, as they say, and really giving up an amazing vibe here, a real Panorama vibe here at the semi-final action. Remember, it's all coming to you live here on 360 TV, and what a performance we just had there. And of course, it's that the man himself, Mr. Ramsey, doing it all so good, arranging another stunning performance here for the band, the New East Side Dimension, the TNTech New East Side Dimension Steel Orchestra. And remember last night, they were like the last band really to start the rehearsals. They kind of waited and let the players who needed to perform and to practice with other bands. He allowed them to go and do their stuff, and then he kind of got there later, and then he just took his players through their paces, and no doubt give a pretty good performance. And today, of course, it shows that they did their work. They did it late, but they did the work, and they certainly came here to make a statement, and boy, did they make a statement here in this semi-final action. And they no doubt really put up the challenge here. They didn't back down at all from what has gone before, and they certainly stared that in the face and then put down a real stunner of their own. The TNTech New East Side Dimension Steel Orchestra, and certainly well received here at the Victoria Square. Band number 11 performing for us here. Remember, they came in with 265 points and were in joint third, the same as the TNT Defense Force as well as the Tobago Panthers Steel Orchestra, who still to come a little bit later on, so we'll be hearing from them. A little bit later on as well. The 7 Tobago bands, remember, involved in and among themselves, and it would be of a very, very high standard indeed. So, but they're all part of a bigger competition. Coming through the crowd here to thunderous applause, and no doubt. I was just making the point, Kirsch, you're coming through the crowd like a celebrity there, boy. People are waving at you, and you're looking like LeBron James coming through the crowd there. Tobago bands in a row, one after the other.
Like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, how are we going to make it? Because I had some players that played with the band.
Well, I was in the Savannah last night, and you all didn't really practice until
stuff. Right. So I say, hey, we're going to practice. I schedule my practice for 11. So band practice start at 11, section practice could run from 7 until.
Right.
So I gave the players the opportunity to run section practice because I made some changes. So they could get these changes, and so when band rehearsal start, we go full.
Right.
Yes, yes.
But it makes sense, and again, and I suppose all the arrangers spoke to that about the level of cooperation.
Yes.
That they get, and the understanding that it's a limited pool of players. And you know.
Yes, because my OJ said, hey, I'm going to finish practice at 11. So I said, well, I will start practice at 11. Right. So because I had like 1-2 players who is good friends with me and good friends with him also.
Right.
So they will give him his support and give me my support as well. So
You know, after they practiced by him, they came across by my band and we had our good rehearsal last night. So when it come today, it's just drill it in slow, don't kill out the players, don't kill out the energy, because we need it on stage. And I'm so proud that I got the energy, I got the vibes, I got the execution, and I'm satisfied.
But and I think that was very evident because from the start,
yes,
you know, you had a very dynamic kind of start, and then they just kept building.
Because after looking at the judges' score sheet from the preliminaries, we worked on that. All the comments, the positive and the negative, and we worked on that. We drilled all the parts that they say, hey, you need to work on this. Players need to think. We work on everything. And
I'm always curious how much credence you put to what the judges' comments are, because after all, they're the ones who are judging you.
Because 1 point is very vital in a panorama. You know that. So if you just say, hey, because a judge made a comment that if the whole band, if the band's singing, the whole band needs to sing.
Right.
And if they gave us 1 point less, I say, hey, here what's going on. Everybody needs to open their mouth and sing the part.
Right.
Because that 1 point could take we into the finals.
True.
Yeah.
So you never know what the judges are looking at. And
exactly.
So it makes sense that you.
But I'm proud. At the end of the day, I'm proud. The crowd response coming through the crowd, and after hearing, hey, well done, well executed, well performance, good energy, good vibes. Yes.
And when did you guys come? You came down yesterday or what?
We came yesterday. So the disadvantage the Tobago bands have, we cannot practice. So we didn't have no practice on Thursday.
Because
the pans are on the boat. So the Trinidadians now, they could practice full. So we had to come in the Savannah yesterday and make sure everything was right, everything was straight, and come today and put on a well-done performance.
It worked, man. Whatever worked, it worked. So once again, Coach Ramsey here with us. Congratulations. And we look forward to you all in the finals come Saturday. So that was band number 11, the T&Tech New Eastside Dimension Steel Orchestra. We move to band number 12, Laventille Serenaders from St. Barb's Road and Laventille Road in Laventille. It's Jeremy Ashby is the leader, Roland Harrigan and Bertram Kelman, the tuners, Mashup, Jason Shaft Bishop, of course, Dexter Black's the man. Ode Franklin is the arranger of this one for Laventille Serenaders, band number 12. 12 of 30. It seems as if they're just waiting to get something. So actually they're looking for the metronome so that they could get the count. And of course, Odie Franklin, who's one of the 3 arrangers for the band Skiffle. And Odie, I think he got his metronome now so he could get the count going. Here we go.